Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, beautiful people. You know, when Meghan Markle decided, I'm going to marry Harry, I'm going to refuse the offer to be a private citizen because I want the Duchess title. Because I'm going to fuck off to the United States. And then I'm going to basically commercialize the hell out of it. I'm going to slander them to death in order to fit my narrative, to justify the fact that I'm living, instead of them saying that I committed fraud. And they're not going to do anything because the royal family lacks the strength of character and integrity to protect their own institution. Okay? She called it right because she's been allowed to get away with everything she's doing. She's been allowed to do that, guys. And we all know that because why? She's still on the royal website. She's still in the royal website, and she's still being allowed to use the royal titles to do all the craziness that she's doing. As usual, please like, share, and subscribe, and leave me your comments after the video. And thanks for watching, guys.
I now identify as invisible. Although I was born visible, I am now transparent. My pronouns are who, where.
Hello, beautiful people. You know, I was reading in the news that King Charles has torn up the letter that the Queen gave Prince Edward in his wedding when he got married to the Countess, to Sophie, whereby she said that he would be the next Duke of Edinburgh. And of course, this is all reason that King Charles wants to minimize the amount of working royals, right? Or or how many royals are out there. The point of this is that it basically shows that this is a letter from a former monarch stating that whenever, obviously, the Duke of Edinburgh died, the role would go to Prince Edward. The title would go to Prince Edward. But nope. If we go by the news, clearly, right? It might still happen, which I doubt. So this is what I mean by contradiction, because we have King Charles asking Parliament to expand the number of counselors of state so he doesn't remove Harry nor Prince Andrew. But it's not as much because of Prince Andrew. He's not concerned about that. It's just that he doesn't want to remove Harry. So he's asking them to expand to include Prince Edward and Princess Royal Anne. So it's like a thing of contradiction, because in one hand he says, oh, all my life I wanted to minimize the amount of working royals, right? Or, you know, to quit handing out so many royal titles. Well, the monarch, and this is without dispute, the monarch could have easily removed Prince Andrew as prince, Beatrice and Eugenie as princess, and Harry as prince, and turn them all into regular citizens, and hand over to Prince Edward the Dukedom of Edinburgh. So he would have removed a bunch of non-working royals who have titles, and one of those, with his wife, appears in the royal website to this day, in spite of the fact that they have slagged off the royal family. You know that I was watching how everybody's pissed about Cristiano Ronaldo's interview, which was not terrible. He was actually, unlike Meghan Markle, telling the truth about the mentality of the new players, the fact of the facilities. And I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is not the kind of man who puts himself out there like this if he can't back it up. You know, I'm sure he has pictures and videos of the facilities of that. And I am absolutely sure that Sir Alex Ferguson is happy he's speaking out because he's embarrassed of what's going on. It would take another Cristiano Ronaldo, or, you know, the equivalent, to speak out against the monarchy. It would take actually somebody like Prince William to speak out about everything that's wrong with the monarchy right now in order for it to people to take notice. Because people like us, YouTubers, we yell, we shout, we get upset, we do everything. But of course, nobody listens. The king doesn't care. You know, Parliament doesn't care. It would take somebody like Prince William to do that. To come out and say, hey, Dad, it's time for you to remove these titles. Because the monarch can do it. Okay? So it is an exercise in contradiction. Because on one hand, he's asking Parliament to expand the amount of councillors of state instead of asking them to reduce them to only working royals residing in the United Kingdom. That would have been the correct, normal thing to do, which would go in line with everything else he has said, which is that he wants to minimize the amount of working royals or people who hold titles. He could also make Harry's wish come true. He could grant Harry's wish. But part of it is like, I was watching something, that it's been really, why is Tyler Perry, backing Meghan Markle? Why are all these people backing Nancy Pelosi or even Hillary Clinton or the Biden people or any of those people, and his arrogance. It is arrogance because they will refuse to admit that they have made a mistake. They much rather go down with the ship rather than say, you know what, we screwed up. Or Oprah for that matter, because what they did is so huge that there are huge consequences. We have the TMZ, for example, it's not a documentary, the TMZ opinions of these people. And these people, I could see that they got more excited the minute they were talking, so they were making things even bigger. It's like they're portraying Meghan Markle as this poor black girl who grew up in the hood with a black single mother, who had to work, do child labor, illegal, unlawful child labor in the United States in order to help her black mother. When we all know that Meghan Markle grew up in elite schools, lived up in an upper class white neighborhood, has had white friends, has identified most of her life with white culture. She had an opportunity to praise her black culture when she did the UN speech. And what did she do? She praised her white father and said that the world needed more men, more fathers like hers. And now it's a complete different set of rules. And we have idiots like the people at TMZ saying the things that they're saying. Why? Because you remember why I keep telling you, like, it's like a gangrene. They think I can rewrite history, and it applies to everybody. It applies to Prince Charles. It applies to Meghan Markle. It applies to everybody. But I was thinking, the same way that people are saying that there's no way back for Cristiano Ronaldo, that he should be sacked, removed. I think they even removed his picture from the Old Trafford mural. And they're taking legal advice. And what he said was not that inflammatory. It's the truth. Ten Hag has no respect for Cristiano. This is not your average football player. This guy has won more championships than the club itself, I think. This is a guy that if we lived in another era, like the era he grew up in, when he got to Manchester United, he looked at these people, he followed and respected them and soaked everything in. He's absolutely right. And instead he's being disrespected, right? But my point in the similarities of it all is that they're already taken down, they already tore up his image at the Old Trafford walls, okay? And all these pundits are saying there's absolutely no way back because he disrespected Ten Hag, in spite of the fact he's speaking the truth, unlike Meghan Markle. Can you imagine if Cristiano had lied? It would be even worse. And they're going to terminate his contract and he's not coming to play. Yet, because everybody's right when they say, when you go out and you say these things, you're basically closing all doors, right? Yet, this doesn't apply to Harry and Meghan Markle, because the king says so. Now, the royal protocol, for people say, the king and queens are supposed to royal protocol. The protocol is what the monarch decides the protocol is. This is what people think that the gray men, that's absolute bullshit. There are laws that Parliament, that royals have to abide by, because it is a constitutional monarchy, but the royal protocol is what the monarch of the day says it is. In this case, Prince, instead of, like people saying, Cristiano can't come back, Cristiano can't go, blah, 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 tore up his poster at Old Trafford. I don't know if he's still in the website or whatever, because as soon as you stop being there, you're no longer there, right? This is a man who brought positiveness to this club. And yet the monarchy, which is a more serious institution, still has Meghan Markle and Harry. Meghan Markle, a D-lister, a fraudster. And Harry and Meghan are now known liars. This is not even up for debate. They are confirmed liars, slanderers, who are trashing the institution that they're still featured in, like in their website. They still are holding royal titles. And clearly they have no respect either for the monarchy, for the UK, not even for themselves. Because I, as a human being, I'd be embarrassed of that behavior that they have. First off, I would have never behaved that way. I would have been so grateful, for everything. I wouldn't have taken the title if I wanted to, if I didn't want to stay in the UK. Because Meghan Markle was told, she admitted in that engagement interview that she was told what the role was about. But no, she didn't want to be a private citizen. She wanted the role because she wanted the title in order to run away with it. Okay? And you know what? She was right. There will be no consequences, because to this day, she has been allowed to do whatever the hell she wants. Slander, lie, meddle in politics, not as Rachel Meghan Markle, but as the Duchess of Sussex, which is unlawful. It's just like me writing to the UK Parliament, telling them that I'm not in agreement with their laws. Or, no, but I'm a private citizen, but it would be like the President of the United States. I'm not saying that Meghan is that important, but it's just to give you an example. It would be like the President of the United States writing to the UK Parliament to tell them that they don't agree, that he doesn't agree with mothers' pay. That's how it is. If it's writing using the President of the United States, it's bad because he's interfering in local politics, in another country's politics. He has no business, right? If he does it as Joe Biden, he's a moron because he's not a British citizen. But when he does it using a title, it does affect. And a title doesn't only have to be a royal title. It is a job title. And royal titles are job titles. And so the king, instead of not giving the dukedom to Prince Edward, should remove the princedom from Harry, who wants desperately, he has said it many times, to be just Harry. Remove it from Prince Edward and the two princesses. And he can also limit, I don't know if you know this, he can limit that the royal title, for example, the Duke of Edinburgh, instead of being an inherited title, he can say that the title goes back to the crown once Prince Edward passes, which is done all the time. It was done with the Duke of Windsor. It's been done many times. You can decide that the title can be inherited or that the title dies with the person and it goes back to the crown, because these are royal titles. So this is why Meghan Markle rightly called it when she thought, I'm going to lie, I'm going to say whatever I have to say, I'm going to, bully my way into getting a title, I'm going to fuck off to the United States, and I'm going to do all these crazy things because I know they won't have the gall, they won't have the nerve, they won't have the integrity to do what's necessary to do to call me out in all this craziness that I'm doing. And she called it right. Okay? What do you guys think? Please, as always, leave me your comments.